Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the DSS Break. It's great to have you with us today. I'm Anna Annison, the founder of Data Science Salon. And today I'm streaming directly from our headquarters, which is beautifully located in the heart of Miami, just a few blocks away from the iconic design district. And we're here live every week to discuss the world of data science, AI, and machine learning. And we chat about unique experiences and best practices with leading data professionals in a 15-minute break. And today I'm really excited to welcome Rebecca Sharpe, who's the CTO at Miami Waterkeeper. And we're going to explore how advanced AI technologies are being leveraged to create innovative solutions for a greener, more sustainable future right here in our backyard, which is really neat. And just a little bit about Rebecca. She's a senior data leader, and she has experience in data analytics and tech with a proven track record of driving growth and strategy during times of transformation, which is really cool. And with experience in automation, BI, data science, and DevOps, Rebecca has led a lot of groundbreaking programs at major organizations, including Amazon, Verizon, and Publix Group. And she holds an MBA and a Master's of Research with a focus on consumer behavior and loyalty programs. And she's recognized for her ability to turn complex challenges into actionable commercial opportunities, which is a talent in itself. Thank you so much for joining us for this DSS break, Rebecca. I'm really excited to chat with you about this topic just because, as a fellow Miamian who's been here for a while and who's here to stay for a while, we're all affected by climate change and rising sea levels. So really excited to hear about what you guys are doing.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for having me here today, and thank you to those that can attend. It's such an important topic, so really excited that you're bringing this up, Anna. Thank you.
Yeah, well, before we dive into this whole thing, maybe you could tell me a little bit about yourself and your journey of how you got to where you are with data science and machine learning and AI.
Yeah, absolutely. My path is probably not the most conventional one. I actually started out a long time ago, a land far away, working actually in advertising and, believe it or not, travel journalism. So through those skills, I pivoted across, which I think gave a communication skill, which now comes into AI. We see, the ability to be able to prompt and query a lot more. So I think those early on communication skills were handy. But as you touched on, I have the MBA and the Master of Research, which is Qual and Quant. And that made me realize early on, I'm kind of, I guess, a sociologist. And as a sociologist, we have this almost extraordinary curiosity with data. We want to know the what, the how, the why, the where, and the when. And so this really opened me up into the world of data science and analytics and ML. And, I took on a lot of projects as I went through my career and got recognized in one thing for another, starting out in CRMs. And then before I know it, I'm building out, cognitive intelligence for one of the leading brands. So really interesting career.
No, and I love to hear that. So you see, you could be in one path and completely go in the other. And I think your background, as you said, helps you be more successful in this field because you have a whole other creative side to you, and side as well.
Trying to bring the left and the right brain together.
Exactly. That's so awesome. So let's dive into our urgent environmental challenges. What is AI really? How is it playing in addressing the most urgent challenges that we have today? Because I feel like a lot of people don't really even know what's going on, how AI is applied to this field at all. So it's very interesting. If you could share a little bit about that to start.
Yeah, I think that is a really good question. As we think, about the problems, the environmental problems, and I was reflecting on this question a little bit earlier. What is happening as a problem on a global level, then down to the continents, countries, and local. And as we think about the urgencies and we think about ecological issues, we think about problems, that are imminent or worse, and things that require immediate attention. This is where AI is really good. It's able to learn and train very fast to help solve issues. And there's a lot of products and services being made at the moment, which I'm very excited about. You hear things such as, you've got Coral Robotics, so a use case there. You've got coming out of the Netherlands, and I think Portugal as well, relevant to water, creating bubbles, like bubble streams, bubble barriers. And that helps like push plastic and pollution out into the ocean. So early on in product development, you need to run AI and ML through there for development. Other really cool products that are coming out through environment and AI. Actually, another one from Europe. I think about, especially with Miami, water, it needs to get through, it needs to permeate surfaces and trickle away. And there's organizations developing products such as moss, which you can grow onto concrete walls. Then the moss is then absorbing that water and also reducing carbon dioxide in the air.
That's cool.
It's really cool. Something that we can implement here in Miami, and just so much going on at the moment.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing some of those like very, kind of close to home use cases. That's cool.
Yeah, because then there's the other ones that go into usual sort of suspects such as marketing technologies and chatbots and all the rest of it. But I think these are really interesting ones.
Yeah, those were definitely more interesting than chatbots for sure, I would say. So let's talk a little bit about the projects and initiatives that you have going on at Miami Waterkeeper and that are driving environmental sustainability. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing, because I think a lot of people don't even know about this.
Well, I would love to share more. So Miami Waterkeeper has been around for, it's almost 15 years now, and is part of a global alliance. So there's a fantastic network of waterkeepers all around the world. And Miami Waterkeeper in particular is focused on, we harness the power of data and community to really advance, the awareness of what's going on in Miami and South Florida to then generate advocacy and then action. And this can be at all levels, from children, members of the public through to policymakers. And, the team, brilliant team that I work with, we have people that work in education and outreach, making sure those programs are alive. Doing well. We have a policy team which is constantly researching and doing those hardcore sessions. And we have science and research, which helps with the water quality monitoring across Miami at a number of sites. So that's what the team does in essence. And as I think about the role that I have at Miami Waterkeeper and the future of Miami Waterkeeper within digital, so the Knight Foundation, they're social investors. They invested last year in Miami Waterkeeper to basically grow in the digital realm, and part of that being, AI. And so very thankful for that injection to Miami Waterkeeper and the larger community. This is going to have a rippling effect. We're actually getting coverage in France, by the way. We've had some really good international coverage. So we're going
awesome. That's great.
And I'm supported by an amazing team who is here learning with me about all things AI and ML on the journey. And I had some really good setup, actually. There's a gentleman, Greg Clark, who set up a lot of the tech when I first started, and marketing mission as well. But when I think about the things that we're doing now, it's really with that injection from the Knight Foundation, we are growing the team to be able to harness more digital capabilities. And some of the exciting projects that we have come up, we think about marketing automation. As mentioned, the awareness, advocacy, and action is critical. How do we get those messages out there faster, maintain its relevancy? Right. And so I have somebody, Edisma, she's taking charge of social, really adopting to these technologies, which I think shows the ease of use. Then I think about, about to make some new hires, so keep an eye on some exciting things coming up. Bringing together data into a data warehouse or data lake, where we can start creating more of an open source environment, which I think will be useful for the community and world researchers. And then actually building a guided user experience. We're in the process of that at the moment. So as mentioned, there's a lot of people that interact with Miami Waterkeeper. They have different need states. So making sure we meet those people as they land on the site, using personalization, segmentation, and automation for that. So things are starting to happen.
Cool. Well, excited to follow your journey, to continue to follow it. And now the next question I had for you was, how do you ensure, let's talk a little bit about ethical use of AI, because I feel like that's always something that people forget about, ethical use of AI when tackling environmental issues. And are there any concerns about this, as we're looking at it, AI's own environmental footprint, which is not so great,
Mm-hmm. You touched on two things very near and dear to my heart, actually. I love this question. So when I think about ethics and data and gathering that information, there's an understanding of why are we gathering it, how long are we going to retain it, what is the use cases. And like you said, a lot of organizations don't spend time to pause there and actually do that due diligence. So I think that's one thing to be mindful of. And also, when we think about the data collection, another thing is like ensuring that there's representativeness in the data. So if we think about Miami, for example, there's people from all over the world here. So when we are building our data sets, we cannot skew it on just one particular segment or audience. And there is statistical methodologies. I sometimes see people just pull a number from the sky, but there is statistical methodologies that actually help you calculate that representativeness. So I think that is one key thing that I would love to see more done of in terms of ethics. And then footprint. Yes, where do I begin? So carbon emissions. There is a lot that can be done on this. So when we are collecting our data and storing it, it can be out of mind, out of sight. People forget about it. And that's the same with things like selfies. People do their selfies, leave it on their camera, out of mind, out of sight. But there is a huge carbon footprint. And we think about all of these servers that are being built on land, in the oceans. And I think, if we took time to pause and made programs as organizations and also as individuals, delete the e-receipts we don't need, I think, that would really help with the carbon footprint and go a long way to creating more sustainability in the industry.
Yeah, no, thanks. That's definitely a really good point. And what are some of the key trends that you're seeing in the intersection of AI and environmental sustainability? Aside from, like I know that you've mentioned a few, but some trends, not like new technologies, more like trends.
Trends?
If there's any.
Yeah,
Actually, I feel like it's all new, right? Like everybody's trying to figure out how to use AI right now. So.
And I think that's, it really is nascent, especially in sustainability. There's a lot of products and services being built, and I think there is a lot of opportunity for AI to be used more widely. But I guess one of the trends that I'm seeing is green algorithms, I guess. If I think about
I've seen that too. Can you explain how that works? Because that's super interesting.
Yeah, it takes an old concept. If I remember, like from my early days, way back when, we used to talk about creating cost-efficient algorithms or creating cost-effective algorithms. So I'm happy to talk about it now in the terms of not just saving dollars, but actually the carbon footprint. So when we're running algorithms that, maybe they're chained ineffectively or they're overly complex, or even the data's like pulling from multiple tables that it doesn't need to, it's actually coming up with these algorithms that are green because they are requiring less processing power. Again, it saves the organizations money, but it's better for the environment. So having somebody look into that.
Yeah, no, that's really cool because was my next question was about how can businesses start leveraging AI to promote sustainability, and that's one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one way to do it, right? Are there any other ways to leverage AI to promote sustainability in your organization?
Mm-hmm. So I think a quick win for a lot of organizations is, we think about the inbox of all of our employees. There's pictures and presentations that are sitting in draft mode, never made it. Sitting in somebody's inbox, or somebody sends a reply to an email that just says simply, thank you. It's not a statement, it's just thank you. All of that creates a carbon footprint, and it creates, takes up space. And so one of the things I love doing is actually working with IT teams to come up with, there is calculations available. Actually, it's a calculator for green algorithms if anybody's interested to go through and to make it part of the program to do a clean out the inbox, whether it's like once a year on Earth Day or it's embedded into quarterly. But having that, because it's huge, especially when you think about major organizations, not just our smaller ones and not-for-profits. And there is tools, there is an AI tool called cleanfox.io. And I love that tool. It sweeps over, it doesn't collect your data. It just simply cleans out your inbox, and it offers up suggestions as you go, helps you manage your unsubscribe. So something that could have been bursting at 5,000, you get down to your 50 in just minutes. So I encourage organizations to think about having those kinds of cleanup days and leveraging those kind of tools org-wide.
Yeah, no, that's really great advice. And you might have to share that little cleanup thing because I have some I have that myself that I'm guilty of, So
It was life changing.
that in our organization, I think that's a great idea. So now as we're coming to sort of the end of our conversation, what advice would you give young professionals, especially the ones that are maybe even like trying to transition from different fields, about getting into this field of AI learning, especially now that everybody's talking about it, it's really hyped, what can you really expect, especially if, like if I'm a marketing professional that wants to be like, get a data, I go to do a data science boot camp.
I think so with that, and me having transitioned across, like, honestly, I was nervous to transition across. My world is brands and agencies, but my passion is in the planet. So there might be people here with us today who might have that same apprehension. And I would say, put that aside and give it a go. Think about, it's almost like the ikigai, like, what are you good at and what do you love? Think about those overlaps. And so you can basically overlap your professional with your personal passions, and then go through, think of some organizations that would align with that overlap, and start reaching out. And if those roles don't exist, don't be scared to open doors and have those conversations, because potentially the organization may not know that that role needs to exist. So I'd say do that. And there's lots of communities, of course, communities and meetups, leveraging your network there. Actually, data visualization is a really big thing in this space. So if you don't have data visualization skills, I would say that would be worth looking into boosting, if that's an area that you can do. There's a lot of requests, especially as we think about, like Google Earth Engine, and we've got GIS and all sorts of Tableau. These are big kind of applications that organizations are looking for in the sustainability space. So I'd say
cool
on those skills too.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's super helpful. And thank you so much for spending time with us, Rebecca, and for sharing all this wonderful information. I learned a lot. So it was a pleasure to have you. And if you guys enjoyed this session, you have to catch Rebecca next week, because she's going to be leading a roundtable discussion about this similar topic, going deeper. So you can really learn to see what's going on in this space. And what's to come. So I hope to see you guys, some of you guys there in person next week, and the rest of you have a wonderful rest of the weekend.
Wonderful. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, everybody.